Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Macon-Bibb County Board of Commission pre-commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, May the 7th, and the time is now 4 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everyone here, and we officially call this meeting to order. We do have several items on the agenda today, and we do have a need to go into executive session, and we'll be taking a break prior to any kind of presentation on the MVP. We have several folks that will be presenting on the Macon Violence Prevention Program. Keep in mind, this is a presentation and not a Q&A, and we'll follow up with questions. At this time, we have the approval of the minutes for April the 16th, 2024. Can I get a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Bronson. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Wynn. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Sent to consent agenda. Item 3A is appointments of authorities, boards, and committees. This is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to appoint Leanne Janode to the Macon-Bibb County Board of Tax Assessors. Leanne, if you don't mind coming up to that podium there. You have your picture on the screen. I know everyone's had a chance to review all her qualifications on there, and since Commissioner Lucas always asks for somebody to speak, we have her here present tonight. She formerly served on this Tax Assessors Board, I believe, and certainly is in the business of doing this. So at this time, if you don't mind just introducing yourself and tell us why you believe that you'll be a good member for the Tax Assessors Board. We'll change the mic. We can hear you, but we have people at home that want to hear you as well. So just one second.
Okay, does this one work better? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I've lived in Bibb County for over 45 years. 27 of those years I have spent as a fee appraiser. I specialize in residential properties, certified through the state of Georgia as a certified residential appraiser, and I have previously served on the Board of Assessors. So I feel that these qualifications lend me to serve well, Macon-Bibb County, in the position on the Board of Assessors.
Well, thank you for that. I know several people had recommended you, including the Tax Assessors Board as well, and Ms. Haygood on that board is retiring. Any questions from commissioners, Ms. Leanne? Hearing no questions at this time, we'd entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Howell, second by Commissioner Bronson. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Be sent to consent agenda. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I know you've got some training coming up soon if you get approved tonight, so we'll look forward to hearing some results of that. So thank you very much. We have some new alcohol beverage licenses. We have several of those on the agenda. Some of those are for confirmation, some's for denial, and some of them is for already been through an appeal. So we'll start with the first one. This is 241 7 Gas Food and Inc. doing business as Citgo. In light of the special master's finding the fact, this is recommendation that there's sufficient grounds for the commission to deny the alcohol license based upon Mr. Partap's reputation and history of conducting an alcohol-related business in violation of county ordinance and violation of a court order. That's my motion. Commissioner Howell would like to make a second on that, and he's a co-sponsor. Any questions regarding that denial? Mr. Bronson, you have something, sir? Okay. Since he's a co-sponsor and the only one, I list him as a second. So we have a motion and a second. Again, this is after a special master finding the fact, and this time we'd entertain a motion to approve in second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item B is Sick Cutter, 23 Fun Fair, 3741 Napier Avenue, Macon, Georgia. You can see a picture of that as well. On this particular one, legal recommended denial back on April the 2nd, 2024, as the application self-identified as a gas station, but did not have gas upon inspection. The location meets the legal definition of a vice mark. Commission denied the license on April the 2nd, 2024. Applicant did not appeal the decision. Therefore, we're here for a final denial. Can I get a motion to approve the denial? Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Clark, second by Commissioner Bronson. Any further questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item C is the Busy Corner Macon doing business as Busy Corner located at 885 MLK Junior Boulevard. Likewise, legal recommends denial for this for failure to submit a completed application, which does not include a lease demonstrating the right to possess from the owner of record, and no certificate of good standing from the property owner of record. Can I get a motion to approve the denial? Motion by Commissioner Bronson. We have a second. Second by Commissioner Howell. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item D, I think we got one recommended approval for a change. This is Kubera REIT LLC, doing business as Courtyard Marriott, located at 3990 Sheraton Drive. They meet all the legal and statutory provisions, and legal does recommend approval. So this time, I entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. See you snuck in on me. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. It will be sent to consent agenda. Item E is Georgia CVS Pharmacy LLC, doing business as VS Pharmacy 4545, located at 1615 Forest Hill Road. You can see a picture of that. Also, this one meets all the legal and necessary requirements, statutory requirements, and certificate of good standing. Legal does recommend approval. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item F is Sam 786, doing business as Family Food Mart, located at 605 Pinona Avenue, Macon, Georgia. This one is legal recommends approval. They met all the legal and statutory requirements and also the certificate of good standing. At this time, we'd entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Jones. We have a second. Second by Commissioner Howell. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries 8-1. I'm sorry, 7-1. We're going to move on to item G, which is the Marathon 610 LLC, doing business as Jet Food Store, located at 610 Sherling Drive, Macon, Georgia. This particular application meets all the legal and statutory requirements, including the certificate of good standing, and legal recommends approval. At this time, I make a motion to approve. Can I get a second? Second by, who is that? Mr. Lucas. We got a motion and a second. Commissioner Watkins. You voted no on the Pinona. Okay. We'll change that to 6-2 with Watkins and Clark both voting against. Thank you, sir. And item G, let's have that vote again. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. The motion carries with exception of Bronson and Watkins. Thank you, sir. We're going to move on to item H, is the Big Fish. The Big Fish LLC, doing business as a sports bar and grill located at 3045 Hartley Bridge Road, Macon, Georgia. That is food and beverage consumed on premises. Legal does recommend approval, and they met the certificate of good standing. This time, I entertain a motion for approval. Yes, sir. Doesn't matter how close it is to a church, since it's food and beverage concerned on premises. Is that your question? No. Okay, go ahead. It's the same one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got a motion approved by Commissioner Howell. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Wilder. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item J will be removed. This is the Sunday Enterprise, AP's Hidden Hideaway, and we'll be brought that up for another occasion. We're going to move on to dedications. We have item 5A, dedication. There is one change to that. We made a correction to a name, spelling Allen correctly, and you'll get a copy of that from the clerk. This is the ordinance of Macon-Bibb County Commission to dedicate the pavilion of Bowden Golf Course in honor of James Allen Jim Hickman in recognition of his many years of service and leadership to the Macon-Bibb County community, and appropriate not to exceed $500 from the general fund balance to facilities management. This is sponsored by Commissioner Mallory Jones, Commissioner Seth Clark, Commissioner Valerie Wynn, and Commissioner Elaine Lucas. Anyone else that would like to be a co-sponsor, you'll please let us know. So at this time, we entertain a motion for approval. A motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Lucas. Or was that Wynn? I'm sorry. Y'all sound just alike. How could I confuse you? All right. Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Wynn. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Going to move on to grants, item 6. Item 6A is a resolution of Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Crisis Line and Safe House of Central Georgia, Inc., granting Community Development Block Grants, CDBG, funding in the amount of $33,000 to provide shelter services to individuals and families involved in domestic violence situations with a 12-month period, within a 12-month period. You can see the information there, and you should have everything else contained in your packets. These are pass-through grants, and I see Ms. Juanita Jackson here today. Also, see Ms. Dee Sims here today. So at this time, we'd entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Bronson. We have a second. Second by Commissioner Wynn. Any questions?
I just have one.
Sure.
One thing. Is there a plan or a schedule of providing information? Are there places what are the places where this information could be found on these different agencies? Or is there such a place?
Yes,
If you
we
don't
can
mind,
actually provide
Ms. Jackson, if
you.
you don't mind just introducing yourself and your position, please.
Yes, I'm Juanita Jackson, the Director for Economic and Community Development for Macon-Bibb County. With regards to this particular information, we do have flyers that, as well as hotline information with regards to all the agencies that we actually have that we provide funds to.
Okay, where are they located? Where
You're saying where the flyer's located?
is it just a flyer, or I know most of the entities have a brochure?
Yes, it
that
is.
has
They have
the
a brochure, and
services.
then we also have information that talks about each one of the agencies and a contact telephone number with regards to that information.
Okay, I'd like to see in our public facilities a little stand or whatever, display, whatever, where all of these agencies' brochures would be placed. And I think that ought to be a part of what we ask the agencies to do, so that you broaden the reach and the information to citizens. Just having a sheet, I don't
Well,
know.
and we-
Is it just a sheet of paper that has a listing?
We have both. So as a part of CDBG Week, we did the actual fair where we had several of the agencies. We also have brochures with regards to the agencies, but we also do a one-pager because sometimes individuals want just that one page versus 10 different brochures. So in that one pager just gives you the name of the agency and some of the information in regards to that agency, and then contact information.
Okay, well, I'd just like to see both, because this is federal monies that citizens pay in, goes to Washington, but it comes back to us for us to help those citizens. And if they don't know, I know the agencies do a wonderful job of getting the word out, but I just think that these need to be convenient in as many locations as possible. We've got the rec centers, we've got community centers like out in Kings Park. We've got a lot of different places that I think would welcome having these. So maybe that's another little project or something, or maybe an agency wants to sponsor doing that. But I just think it's necessary so people can't say, well, how do I find out about that? How do I know about this? And then we could include the MVP. Thank you. Thank you very much. We could include the MVP, those agencies that have come up with a brochure, and I think many of them have. And that just, I'm just all about getting the word to people if you're spending their money on them.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I would just appreciate you committing to doing that.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucas. We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We're going to move on to item B, which is a resolution of Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Family Advancement Ministries, granting a community development block grant in the amount of $25,000 to Family Advancement Ministries to provide eligible families with daycare assistance. At this time, we entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Bronson. We have a second. Second by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item C is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the Heart of Georgia, Inc., granting community development block grant funding in the amount of $21,694 to provide mentoring services to at-risk youth. Pass those forms out, I think. Okay. Should have something on your desk. Ms. Fitzgerald passed out a little earlier. Thank you for being here tonight. At this time, we entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Bronson. We have a second. Second by Commissioner Jones. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item D is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Mother's Nest, granting community development block grant in the amount of $10,000 to provide assistance to new and expectant mothers. I see Ms. Friday for being here. Thank you for being here tonight. In the amount of $10,000. At this time, we'd entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Got a second by Commissioner Bronson. Any questions? Commissioner Lucas?
That's
Ms. Friday, if you don't mind coming up to the
fairly new
microphone.
one and
Thank you for being here
needs
today.
services.
I understand by speaking to several people that are interested in this particular area that we have, our need used to be less than 1,000, and we've had over 11,000 requests for things like diapers and other things. So we appreciate you being here tonight, and this is a $10,000 grant. Just tell us a little bit about what you plan on doing with these funds and what the purpose of them for, and the need that we got in our community.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Greetings, everybody, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Sabrina Friday, the Executive Director of Mother's Nest, and we help young mothers with training, assistance with transportation, childcare, baby essentials, to name a few. And we also currently have over 600 mothers and children that are living in hotels, and they are living in the same bed, which is creating some safety concerns. So with the $10,000, we are buying a bassinet and cribs to kind of give a barrier for the mother and her children so the babies can't be in harm's way, because according to the safety guidelines, the baby should always sleep alone on its back in its crib. But if he or she has no means to do that, then we're at a loss. So with these $10,000 funds, we are going to purchase cribs and other baby essentials to further the cause for Mother's Nest.
Thank you for that information. Any follow-up, Commissioner Lucas, Commissioner Wynn?
Yeah, I just wanted to, not necessarily just for you, but for these four that we are voting on, I think they're all worthy services, and I'm so glad you're doing them. Just want to make sure, just like Commissioner Lucas said, that we get the word out to our community about where they can get the funding and the help. So hopefully your services are advertised somewhere or placed somewhere that they'll know where to find these.
Yes, absolutely. Our resources is listed in the United Way. They have a resource guide, and Mother's Nest is listed in there with the assistance that we provide, whether it's parenting training, transportation, baby essential, to name a few. We are listed in the resource guide that's put out by United Way, and we also located at Piedmont Hospital and Atrium, as well as different doctors' offices as well.
I'm assuming some of these handouts are at Brookdale Resource Center too?
Exactly, yes,
Okay.
ma'am. They are at Brookdale.
All right, thank you, Ms. Friday.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Commissioner Wynn. At this time, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item E is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a Homeland Security subgrant from the Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency, GEMA, in an amount of $71,471 with no local match required. This is to be used by the Macon-Bibb County Fire Department for personal protective gear. So this time, I entertain a motion to approve. I'll let you decide who that is. I think that's.
I thought it was a photo finish for Bronson with Mel and
You sound like the Derby there. We gotta take a picture of that one. All right. We got Brunson and Jones down there, motion and second. Anyone else that wants to be a co-sponsor on that, I know Commissioner Wilder has asked to do that. Please let Ms. Ross know. This time we'd go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and be sent to consent agenda. We're going to move on to item 7, which is the contract and purchase orders for approval. And we got several of those tonight, I think about 6. 7A is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement to the independent contractor agreement with River Edge Foundation, Inc., an amount of $299,605.49 to be paid from the Federal Home Program and Community CDBG funds as well. I see Mr. Cass Hatcher here. Mr. Hatcher, if you don't mind, just come forward to tell us what these funds are for, how you're going to be using those, and answer any questions that someone may have.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. Cass Hatcher, River Edge Behavioral Health. I'm the CEO. We ran into a little problem when we was doing our tiny houses, Serenity Courtyard over in Bloomfield. We ran into some unstable soil. We did a soil boring at the beginning, identified that the soil was stable where the units are going. There'll be 26 units of tiny houses for the homeless. And so, but the entrance into the property off of Bloomfield Parkway, we ran into some unstable soil. We had 2 options. One of the options were to bring in new soil and haul the old soil off of the property, which cost too much money. And so we did have a location on the site where we were going to be a future community center. And that soil was good, so what we did, we swapped it out. We took the good soil, stockpiled it, took the bad soil to put it in that location, hoping over a period of time it would dry out and could be used over several years, and took that good soil to put in the roadway that would be going into the property. And so the funding will basically pay for that. Not only would it pay for the swap of the soil, but also French drains. There's an underground stream that we identified on the property, and so basically we will French drain that water to the retention pond that is located on the property. And so the cost would be for relocation of soil, French drains to the retention pond, and that's the change order that we're requesting. If you haven't been on the site, if you haven't been to Bloomfield, you will notice that of the 26 houses, at least half of them are already framed and are looking good, and we'll be finished by the end of the year with this project.
Thank you for that information. Any questions from Mr. Hatcher? Yeah. We got them on the east side. We know we got them coming over there just around the corner from the mall, right there behind the old wing place. So thank you for the work you're doing.
2 locations, east
2
and
locations.
west.
So we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, we need a motion? Okay. I need a motion. Got a motion, Commissioner Bronson. I got a second. Slow me down over there. Oh, Commissioner Jones. I got a head nod from Commissioner Lucas, though. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes to be sent to consent agenda. Thank you, Cass, for being here tonight, Mr. Hatcher. Resolution B, resolution of Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Buxton Construction, the amount of $576,160.22 to repair and repave Mead Road, be paid from the 2018 SPOS funds. That is sponsored by myself, Paul Bronson, Commissioner Raymond Wilder, and anyone else who'd like to be a co-sponsor of that. Commissioner Howell. Mr. Bronson, did you do an interview today? Okay. Since you did an interview, we'll let you explain everything to the people at home. As you know, we have received several requests from the Industrial Authority, from neighborhoods there. This Mead Road has been in a state of disrepair for quite a while, but because of the makeup of that being partially concrete, there is a little bit more expensive project than we anticipated, but we wanted to make sure we got that through. So this is awarding the contract in this particular company for this amount to get this road done, and I think the people there would be happy for that to happen. Commissioner Watkins, you have a question, sir? Joy, come on.
So very excited about this road project. I have an amendment. I think it's probably more relevant to the Columbus Road section. Again, just adding a section of street. Mead Road, we all can agree, is in vast need of repair, particularly with its industrial. But anyway, I'll yield till the next item.
Okay.
I have amendment.
We have a motion and second on this one. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item C is a resolution of Macon-Bibb County Commissioner authorizing the mayor to execute an amendment to the independent contractor agreement with Reeves Construction Company for LMIG 2022 paving in the amount of $150,404.75 for the addition of certain portions of Columbus Road to the 2022 LMIG Deep Patch Asphalt Resurfacing Project to be paid from the 2018 SPOS funds. This motion is sponsored by myself, Commissioner Raymond Wilder, and Commissioner Paul Bronson. Yeah, okay. We've got those motions there, seconds, and I think Commissioner Watkins, you have a question on this one, sir?
Yes, sir. If you guys noticed, in the exhibit, it describes the sections to be handled, and it goes from Columbus Road, US 80 to Tidwell, all the way to Heath Road, which covers a good bit of the section adjacent to Macon State College and, like I say, that area. But and we don't think about it much, but on Montpelier, what we traditionally think about is Montpelier intersecting in front of the Department of Labor on Florence is also Columbus Road, and it is in a bit of disrepair for that stretch almost until you get back to the college. So it changes back from Mercer University to Columbus, then back to Montpelier, and then you're downtown at the college. But I was hoping we could consider adding the section as is written from Columbus Road from Florence to Winton, and that would cover a good bit of the roads in Unionville in that area, if that makes sense.
I'm a little confused. We're at the Columbus Road toward Mizella. How do we get to over there on this Thomas Road State Road?
Where you go to down Mercer
place.
University, you go down Mercer University till you get to the Department of Labor, where it then forks. And it's like making history. Columbus Road was there first. So that fork that you split at Department of Labor, you can go into Unionville more.
Yeah, I know what it is.
So that becomes, we also call that Columbus, it's Columbus Road as well.
Right.
Also needing of repair. And I was asking that it be added to this list for consideration too.
I think this specifically price is for the completion of that area there to complete that. If you're asking to add that road for a later time or for the next round of paving, I don't have any problem with that. But the problem we have now is it's not included in this funding here. And you also have that entire state road there before you get down to Montpelier, including a couple of roundabouts that's coming right there. So I think that's going to complicate some things there. But as far as adding that for consideration for future roads, I don't think there's an issue, but I think it's not appropriate to amend this to add that road there.
Well, I'm familiar with change orders all the time. We just got through with one, and as a commissioner voting for it, I'm comfortable with a change order that would encompass this with that same contract. It's just a matter of if we want to do that.
Dr. Moffitt, this $156,000 was funding that was remaining from a project already, and that's the extent of the balance on this. Is that correct?
That is correct. Right. But I will, if you'd allow me, I'll look at what that road cost and see if we can find any additional funds to look at what that would take to pave that particular section.
So you're saying that off the top of your head now, you know that there's no funding in this pot here for such things?
Right, because this pot here was from if you remember the way we label the roads, the LMIG 23, LMIG 23. And once they did the list of roads, it came in under. And so I wanted to use the under amount to go ahead and finish that section of Columbus Road from Heath all the way to US 80. Because on that road itself, if you ever driven that road, you realize it's about 35 humps in that road where the road is kind of separating. It's not a hazard. I want to make sure nobody's thinking it's a hazard. But because of that, finding that we had some underrun on this project to go ahead and knock that section of road out. Because of those joints are getting worse, and that road would be in the next round of roads, but I can go ahead and move it up and knock it out now.
My request is stated. I'm not trying to stop anybody else's road from getting fixed, but if it's possible, I just have noted for a time that section right there, which is of the same road name, seemed like it could be an appropriate amendment.
And I'll look and see, because we also I need to physically take the engineer to go look at it, and if we can patch it at this point to see exactly what the concerns of that road are, but I'll jump right on that.
Thank you. I'll withdraw the amendment.
Thank you. And I'll join in any motion to pave that. I've been down Montpelier plenty of times. Matter of fact, every single day I go home that way. And before you get there to the point there, the road's in pretty disrepair. But I know there's other construction that'll be happening over there, so we have to be mindful of that. But on this particular item, I appreciate you withdrawing that amendment. We do have a motion and second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item D is a resolution of Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with North America Fire Company, NAFCO, in an amount of $196,300, $196,300 for the purchase of V-Force protection gear to be paid from the SPLOST 2018 Public Safety Fire Upgrade Machinery Equipment line item. I'm a sponsor of that, as well as Commissioner Bronson. At this time, we'd entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Bronson, second by Commissioner Wilder. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. We're going to have a photo finish here sometime. Item E is a resolution of Macon-Bibb County Commissioner authorizing the mayor to execute an amendment of the management agreement with Summit Group for 688 Walnut Street building in an amount of $129,113 per year to provide for maintenance and operational costs related to offices used by county agencies and departments to be paid from the rents line item, each occupying the department. As you recall, this is 688. This is the property we purchased right behind, used to be called the old IBM building, right behind the courthouse. This particular building, we have a management agreement with Summit. It's about 4% a year for the management agreement. We want to pay this amount into a fund as part of the rents to make sure that if we have any issues there that need maintenance and upkeep, we pull that directly from that fund, and we don't have to worry about budgeting each year for it separately in case we get a unit that has to be replaced or any other kind of item. So we're treating ourselves as one of the tenants there because we do occupy part of that space, and that amount is the amount that we got listed here, the $129,000, et cetera. So this time, I entertain a motion for approval.
Hey, question.
Sure.
Question.
Are city, county offices the only ones in that building, or
No,
are
ma'am.
others? There are other
There's
entities?
attorney's office and medical offices in that building as
So
well.
we're getting rent from them too?
We are.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's rent rolling fine, but we all want to anticipate buildings get old and have maintenance costs, et cetera. So we want to put that into a fund each year like you would normally do at any place. So when the item comes up to repair, we'll have the money there to do it, and we'll pay that into Summit, and they would use that to repair building and provide maintenance and upkeep. I have another question, Commissioner Lucas.
Yeah, would this be the vehicle for the naming or the transfer of the name? Because we discussed this when we were down there.
Right, yeah,
some
we looked
months
at
ago.
naming this after the
Or
Randall.
would that be a separate, do we need to do a separate?
We need to do a separate resolution if we want to
Can
name
we
that building.
just go ahead and ask that be done?
We will.
Mhm.
I'll go ahead. Attorney McNeil, if you'll speak to me after the meeting about the naming that building. We've talked about it before when we're looking at signage there, and we'll go ahead and prepare a resolution on that as Commissioner Lucas being the sponsor of that. Thank you. We do have a motion and second. You have a further question? I'm sorry, Commissioner Watkins. Yes, sir.
So, and again, I could quickly understand how some of my questions could come off as rude or in trying to take food out of somebody's mouth that's doing a perfectly good job, I'm sure, as it relates to the Summit Group. But I'm just curious as it relates to this. I guess firstly, that jumps out to me, we have a facilities department that does a tremendous job across a vast array of types of facilities as it comes to the county. Like, what is the advantage or add to this relationship? And of the 129, what portion thereof is going for the management and what portion is going into the operating account? That wasn't clear to me from that.
You want, Attorney McNeil, can you handle that question? Okay.
Oh.
Make sure I get our legal. We'll let you answer the next one.
So the contract is for the tenants that are not county, it's 4% of rents. For the county offices, it's 4% of what the rent would have been if we were renting that. So that's how it all got calculated.
You speak in that microphone, please.
I'm sorry. So for the tenants that are non-county.
So we only pay for the non-county? We don't pay rent?
They pay us rent, and Summit, as property manager, keeps 4% of that rent for the non-county tenants. For the county offices that are there, they're doing property management services for us, even though we're not charging ourselves rent. And so we pay them a fee that is equal to 4% of what the rent would have been for those spaces as a month-to-month fee.
Okay, so 4% of the whole building.
Right.
Okay. And I guess to the question of, you mentioned the operating account, so what portion of the 4% goes into the operating? Was it half, 20%, or did I totally misunderstand?
The remaining funds go into the operating account.
What's that mean?
All the rents that are paid, that minus the management fee, goes into the operating account. The advantage of that is that the Sterling, the maintenance provider, can operate quickly to make repairs. Even though we have a great finance department, it takes it off our finance department to go over and do certain things. Now, he does it in coordination with our finance department. He has to get everything approved by Rob to do it.
You're saying finance, but you mean facility?
Facilities. I apologize.
Okay.
Facilities. So he does coordinate with Rob to do things, maybe small jobs, but things, larger things. We have this operating account that we can quickly make repairs or do any upgrades we need to the building.
If we provided the operating account to our facilities department, wouldn't they have access to those same funds to quickly make repairs plus the 129?
But it's still manpower at the same time also. So this gives the opportunity we can hire local vendors and things of that nature to get there.
If we hired 2 full-time people, that would, at the rates we pay, would that even be 129?
129 is not the total fee for the operation. That includes the 4%, but we can't hire 2 people, I can tell you that. We've been trying to hire people all along. We've been having to do out contract services, but this is a way to allow us not to have major surprises when we have an immediate need there. Say there's a leak there, there's AC that goes out, to have funds sitting in an account. Those unused funds will stay there in the event that we have an emergency in the future, but this is a way we're trying to account for buildings that we own, and we think it's the best way to proceed.
I totally agree with the fund. The fund, the operating account fund is totally cool. That wasn't the part that I was discussing.
But the 4%, I think I told you in the very beginning, that's the amount.
Yeah.
So, any other questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item F is a resolution of Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute a preliminary development plan agreement with Macon-Bibb County Urban Development Authority and Carter and Associates Commercial Services, LLC, the amount of $174,905 to provide for their initial planning and development of a multi-use development to be paid for the Bibb Mill, paid by the Bibb Mill TAD budget, professional services line item. This is what's commonly referred to as the East Bank. How you doing, Commissioner Lucas? We're doing good. This is commonly referred to as East Bank, and this is our first step in going ahead and developing that property with a master plan. The master planner has been selected by a committee which included Dr. Keith Moffitt, Pastor Stanley, Ms. Wanzina Jackson, and a couple other ones off the top of my head, Clay Murphy, and there's one more. Was there one more? So anyway, they reviewed the entire plan. The plan for this company will be to first get the layout of the property and look at all the land there in the property. They've been to town already. After we do a contract with them, they will have a public engagement and meet with the constituents in that area to entertain their opinions, their thoughts on what they like to see there in the first 90 days, 90 to 120 days. At the end of that time, they will put a rendition, a charrette, to present to Macon-Bibb County in the first 120 to 180 days, at which time, after that period of time, they will put it out for themselves or a bidder for upward development, which could include hotels, residences there, retail, and restaurants pursuant to the RFP. So we feel like they were qualified to do the job. This $174,000 is for all the work they're doing. In case we don't develop the property, they will still have their money back for the work that they do. And we anticipate the whole process taking at least 6 months, but a year before we get upward mobility over there on the project. So any questions or concerns on that or follow-ups on this presentation? Mr. Watkins, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just curious on, I guess a little bit about Carter. What about their presentation was, I guess, highlighted, or the notes of that presentation to make it win over the others? What other
First of all,
tangibles
they're
we
the
should
only
see?
they're the only qualified company
Oh,
that applied for this.
are they local at least?
They're not local. They do
Georgia?
associate local folks here. They also associate architects like Nielsen that we should be Wakefield and Beasley. They submitted in their packages numerous projects that multi-million-dollar projects across the southeast United States that were very successful. Their finances look really great. They've been capable of delivering as promised. And also, they've got some great experience in attracting good quality upward developers, including hotels, residential, and retail. They've been very successful in that.
And the only additional point to that is that the committee did consider that. That's why we had them come in for an in-face interview to talk to them about their proposal.
So I'm clear on the deliverables. I wasn't clear. Was it their deliverable stop at master planning where we get the book and the document and are left to do the work, or is this an end-to-end? They would be involved in the master planning, the financing, as the mayor mentioned, the recruiting. So is that the relationship that we're starting?
That's
Also
the
the
relationship.
construction?
The relationship we're starting. They have an opportunity to become the builder as well. They have an opportunity to reply to whatever RFP that we have, whatever process we have after we come up with the plan itself on what the community wants there, what we want there. And certainly the financing would be based on that, but they have an opportunity. They are not the exclusive upper developer. So at completion of the process, if we take all their documents and decide that we want to end the relationship, we could do that. Or they can be considered along with any other builders to do the work that we decide needs to be done there.
Okay, so the closeout of this would be the master plan site design stuff?
Yes, sir. That and the public engagement, but they are not prohibited from actually doing the upper development as well, which they've done in other projects. Okay, do we have a motion second?
I just want to ask.
Commissioner Lucas, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Commissioner Wynn, getting all confused today. Commissioner Wynn.
Telling you, just for my information, my clarification, the Bibb Mill TAD, what is included in that TAD, that tax allocation district? What area is included? Maybe the Marriott, but I'm not sure what else is included in that.
I can get you a picture of the map, but it extends from the backside of that property, the East Bank, around the old health department, I believe, up to the Rose Hill Riverside Cemetery, come in the background parts of Spring Street, back to MLK.
Okay, that's pretty big then. Okay, that's what I wanted to.
It's large. You just don't have enough development in that area now to generate the funds that's needed to help East Macon out, and that's what this project's
That's
for.
what I was wondering about.
They still anticipate $350 to $400 million worth of upward value on the property as far as the building. And
That'll make a nice TAD, won't it?
it
thank you.
should. It should. Any other questions, Commissioner Lucas?
Yeah. Oh.
Commissioner Lucas?
How many charrettes or is it in the documentation? How many charrettes or community meetings will be held?
They didn't indicate the exact number of meetings, but I know what will be happening in the next 90 days. So certainly we told them that was a district that you were at, and to make sure that you were included in the meetings, as well as Commissioner Bronson.
Right, I do
everyone's-
plan to.
Everyone's welcome there,
Yeah.
and we gave them some meeting opportunity places as well. So they'll be in the neighborhoods. They've been here on a couple of occasions already, but they can't begin the work until we get this approved and get our attorneys working on a contract with them.
Okay.
So follow-up questions, Commissioner Watkins, you have another question, sir?
Yes, so sometimes I go online and I just peruse all the internet conversation that's been had about different things. And one point I haven't been clear on this East Bank project, and I think it would help the table set for the community. As we are, and as you're, right now the administration's vision for this, is this a tourism-based area, or is this like a local amenity, basic amenity, expansion of the east side type of development, or what is the mindset there as we start down this path?
All of the above, all of the above. As we have the next item on the agenda here for the Old Muggy National Park and Reserve, we received some great news this last week about the bills being dropped, which is an excellent opportunity, and it's something we anticipated when we purchased this 21-acre site there. It's something that will be beneficial to East Macon outside of the tab because it'll have restaurants and also have some residents there and some retail there. More importantly, that income and residency and that attraction of the number of people coming there will help to spur development in the area, we believe, both business and residential, housing, et cetera, for the area. So I think it would be all of the above. Certainly, tourism is going to play a part in it. The early projections go for over 1.3 million visitors over the next 15 years on average, as opposed to the 150,000 or so that we have there now. So there's certainly going to be some interest there in the hotels for tourism. But we believe that both the tourism and the neighborhoods will get the value of that. So that's all going to be determined based on the conversations that we have with the neighborhoods on what they want there and what's best suited for that particular property. So that's what we're looking at now. And of course, we're going to bring this back to the commission once we get this RETS, after they have those conversations, and it'll be something we decide as a group on how we want to proceed further for the best use of that property. Any other questions? Okay. Commissioner Watkins?
And I guess that kind of goes back to the intentionality of the charrettes and the town halls that I had. Because there is a difference between, even when you talk about residential, the working class need of families in East Macon, as we talk about a building an apartment complex versus expanding of downtown with additional lofts. The price points are different, the amenities are different. And I know intent can be to do all things, but that's very expensive and can be convoluted. And I don't think there is anything wrong with picking one or the other. I just think you probably just need to be upfront and intentional with people when we're having these conversations. So,
Well,
I'll yield.
It's multi-use. I expect that we're going to have some of everything there. And certainly we've been intentional about letting folks know that we wanted to make sure that we have some workforce housing there, make sure that people that live and work in that area can afford to live and stay there. So I think that's going to be a proponent of it, especially if there's any tax credits or anything else used in development of that property. But that's something for a later day. I can't really go into all that right now until we heard from the people and have the SRETs done and see what kind of other input do we have. So we do have a motion and second. There's no further questions. We'll go ahead and call for a vote on this one. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. The final item before presentation, we'll be taking a recess after this item here before we begin our MVP presentation. This Omuggy National Park and Preserve Establishment Act, this is a resolution of Macon-Bibb County Commission urging United States Congress to adopt that legislation known as the Omuggy Mounds National Park and Preserve Establishment Act. This is sponsored by every single person on this, mayor and all commissioners on the board. At this time, we entertain a motion to approve. Got a motion? Got a second? Got a second? And before we take a vote, Commissioner Mayor Pro Tem McCarthy, would you like to say something, sir?
Yeah, I'd like to, if the commission is okay with this, because I suspect it'll be unanimous just because of the authorship, if I could speak extensively and give an update on the legislation at the 6 o'clock meeting, but I just want to thank every one of you for co-authoring this. It is a very strong statement, and it's incredibly timely given the introduction of the bill. So thank you all, and I hope we can, you'll entertain a further legislative update at the 6 o'clock meeting.
We do have a motion and second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to the consent agenda. Time is now 5, is that right? 5:50, 4:50. Is that clock wrong? Time is now, I know, what was it? 4:50. You sure? All right, the time is now 4:50. We're going to take a brief recess, and we'll be back probably 5 minutes after 5 to begin our presentation on the MVP prior to our commission meeting.
you could learn anything from Keith Moffat, it's you can't talk into a microphone when it's pointed at your stomach.
Dr. Moffat, we're getting less. Dr. Moffat, we're getting lessons on how to properly use the microphone.
We don't.
Like, he's telling me, hey, how you doing?
You have to talk to it. You can. This is very easy to raise and lower. You should be able to do a hand. If you just talk right here, it'll be fine.
Okay, sounds good.
But if you talk here,
Then it won't. Is that where
you see
he
it. You
talks?
see how it's not here because he's so tall, he forgets to move it. You kind of have to talk into it right here.
Sounds
The who? Oh, okay. Did you put it up there?
All right, we're back on the committee of the whole, and we're getting to the point of item 9A, which is a presentation. This is the Macon Violent Prevention Update. We expect the update to take about 40 minutes, and then we will, this is just a presentation. I mentioned that earlier. We'll ask that you follow up with any questions to Jeremy Grissom in writing so the entire body can get the benefit of the responses. We're not going to be answering questions tonight specifically about that, but it's good to have Jeremy Grissom here tonight. I see Ms. Catherine Dennis here tonight. Good to have you back. DA Anita Howard and Sheriff David Davis. This time I'm going to just give a brief overview, very brief, on where we're at. And we have a slide show for you as well. So if you'll go ahead and present that. Perhaps. Can all y'all see that? Don't you just love technology? There we go. Oh, Lord. There you go. Next slide, please. There we go. All right. Well, just want to remind everybody, we're talking about the Macon Violence Prevention Program. It's a prevention program. And you can see a couple pictures there with some of our folks who are fortunate enough to go to Atlanta. And although we're not about awards and trying to be self-promotion, it is important to people in Macon-Bibb County to know the great work that we're doing here in our community, and it's going to model for the state. And I've said it several times, about 530-something cities in the state of Georgia and Macon-Bibb County won 2024 Visionary Award based on the Macon Violence Prevention Program. So we were excited to receive that award, represent all the great work that we're all doing in Macon for every part of our community that participates in that. Next slide. So just a little bit about what came out just a few weeks ago on the Violence Prevention Index. This is about how communities are handling violence in their community, how they're responding to that. And this is a Community Justice National Ranking. Macon-Bibb County was tied for 6 out of 100 cities in the U.S. in the 2023 Community Justice Violence Prevention Index. They ranked the cities based on hundreds and hundreds of categories, and we'll be happy to send a copy of that to each of you so you can look at that. Those include all the MVP things we're doing, but also some of the things we're doing with the DA's office, the Sheriff's Department, some of the things that we're doing with the hospitals, some policies that we have passed, and some things that we've done specifically targeting certain areas of our community, including over in Pleasant Hill, the Cure Violence Model. All those things are listed in there. So if you go through that document there, you'll see Macon-Bibb County score was 79, the highest in Georgia. You can see Atlanta was 21, Augusta was 4, Columbus 18, and Savannah is 17. So when people tell you that we're not doing enough to address the issues we have in our community, you can let them know that this statistics here say differently, and all this is evidence has been tested. So we're tied for 6 in the nation. There you can see our score there, and I think it will continue to climb as we continue to make progress there, and it's everybody working together. Next slide. So overall, we talked about this before. The sheriff mentioned it about a month ago when he came here. The homicide rate decreased 43% from 2022 to 2023. And not that you brag on homicide rates, because we all know that the value of one life is too many. But we do live in the real world, and we know that situations happen, and we need to try to figure out how we can prevent those things from happening. That's why we have a sheriff-led approach and we have a community-led approach. And we do our part on both sides of that to make sure that we do that. More importantly, we have targeted the youth, and we believe that trying to prevent things from happening before that child ever picks up the gun, or teaching people how to deal with situations where they, instead of becoming combative, they can talk things out, hug things out, or do other types of mentorships that may help them out. So we're fortunate enough in the last almost 18 months now to decrease 67% from 2022 actually to the present of those 18 years or younger being victims and committing violent crimes. I think that is a direct correlation with all the things that we're doing across our entire community on targeting youth. Violent crime rate is down 33% this year from the same time period in 2022. Next slide. This is Mr. Jeremy Grissom. He had a little bit less hair back then. Jeremy is doing a great job as a coordinator for a Macon Violence Prevention Program. And I want people to know too is that this Macon Violence Prevention Program is a great partnership with Community Foundation of Central Georgia, and that's why they're a valuable partner with these grants. So a lot of information that you'll hear tonight is about the different community foundation grants, what cycle we're on. We're coming up on another cycle and how we funded that. And it's important to know that these funds were funds that we took out of our general fund and not out of the ARPA funds. I think that's important to know. And we're always looking for ways that we can sustain the funding for these and to make sure that we find other methods of payment other than just the county proceeds for years to come. So this time we're going to turn over to Mr. Jeremy Grissom to move forward. I understand we have some other guests that will be presenting as well.
Yes, I appreciate that. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to just park right here for a second. Oftentimes we talk about numbers, and it's very important. But I think we miss the magnitude of what we're actually doing here, right? When we talk about prevention and intervention, we're talking about lives. We're talking about people that won't leave our community. We're talking about families that won't be grieving. We're talking about putting things in place that will assist our community in the future. And I think it's important for us not to let this breeze over our head when we start talking about numbers. The actual fact is that we had a very challenging year in 2022, and what we've done since then is put things in place that are going to steer our community for the next 10, 20 years. So I want us to never forget the reason behind what we're doing and why we're doing it. Numbers are great, but the initiative itself, the motives behind it will continue to allow youth in our community to grow, be safe, and have a community that everybody wants to be in with a high level of public safety and trust that they will be well in our community. And so, you know, looking at what we've done as a team, in a collaborative effort, we've reduced the number of homicides, advanced technology. There's been job placement in some of our programs. And right now, currently, there are 31 grant-funded organizations still working under MVP that will be closing out in May. So those are 31 organizations that are working on behalf of one common goal, whether it be mentorship, whether it be literacy, whether it be just providing a supervised activity for youth. There's 31 different organizations working for the same goal. And so I want to talk about a couple of the violence interrupters that are still working. One being Motivating Youth with its Adult Readiness Program. Motivating Youth is a program based on personal development, transportation, food, shelter, and clothing. The program contains facilitators that teach soft skills, social skills, behavior management, conflict resolution, and career development. In February of 2024, the 22nd class graduated 18 out of the 25 people that were registered. They all graduated, the 18 out of 25 all graduated actively with employment. From 2023 to 2024, Motivating Youth has graduated 6 cohorts with a total of 50 graduates, which are all now gainfully employed. Overall, they've had 22 sessions and they've graduated 198 graduates with 189 currently employed. To date, the program has directly affected 705 families and changed their dynamics. So when we think about what it takes to thrive, when we think about things that drive crime, poverty, food insecurity, employment, this organization has addressed those needs. And not only are they being taught skills that some of them might not have had prior to, they're actually able to leave this program with a job, with a way to provide for their families. And most recently, the company that hired some of the graduates were Academy Sports, Gilmore Warehouse, Riley Environmental, the Cherry Blossom Festival, Millspec, Macon Housing Authority, Bazell Plumbing, Regency Health, YKK, Bluebird, and Camilla Rose. Also, the Adult Readiness Program to date has helped 66 participants obtain their high school diploma. Next, I want to talk a little bit about Cure Violence, who are working in the target area of Pleasant Hill, where they canvass daily, and visit potential hotspots and target areas. They've taught several participants construction and painting skills, and 2 of the participants are in the beginning stages of starting their own landscaping business. They have several outreach activities that include but are not limited to that foster also positive relationships, kickball games, cookouts, things that get the community involved and know that there's someone there to assist them. There's someone there to be present. They meet needs as they arise. So if food insecurity is a need, they'll meet that need. If mentorship is a need, they'll meet that need. And lastly, we'll talk about the Community Empowerment Center, which you might have heard done the midnight basketball up until the late part of last year. They had a mobile health clinic from community healthcare centers, which was present along with residents from Mercer University who provided blood pressure, sugar screenings, flu shots, and vaccinations. They also conducted HIV screenings with the Department of Health, and over 200 people from the community were able to receive access to these services at no cost. And as it relates to late night basketball, the current roster, or the last roster, had 109 players attached, and the games were played on Friday and Saturday nights from 9 p.m. to midnight, where they also discussed code of conducts, behavior conflict resolution, and provided services to over 318 people. So 20 were signed up for soccer registration, 26 were allowed senior care, were able to get senior care for free, 42 families were assisted with food assistance, and 232 families were assisted with basic needs. So in saying all that, there are different organizations that are working, doing different things, and I think the beauty of what it takes is community. So one community on one front trying to do the same thing, and I think that's how we win, and that's how we'll continue to win. I think that being recognized in the state of Georgia for what we're trying to do for our violence prevention efforts speaks to what we are achieving, and that there are other places looking at us for their success. So again, I thank you all for your buy-in. I thank you for MVP itself. I appreciate the trust that you put in me to collaborate this effort. And next, we're going to hear from D.A. Howard about her RISE initiative.
Y'all in the pictures today. All right, hello. How y'all doing? Okay, so hold on. Then y'all won't share days? Well, these are all the pictures. You mean go through them? Huh? Okay, this is me. I'm Anita Reynolds Howard, and I'm the district attorney for Bibb, Crawford, and Peach counties. Okay, I was gonna go through it. You gotta know how to think fast on your feet, right? I can go ahead and start talking about it. The slides will come up. As many of you know, we launched our RISE initiative in December of 2021, and the RISE initiative is a part of MVP. I want to thank, as I always have, the mayor and the commission for your support of that initiative, where we identify youth who have experienced adverse childhood experiences, and we connect them with services, an individualized plan to mitigate their trauma, because we know that if we can treat and mitigate their trauma, then they're less likely to become involved in the criminal justice system. And so, again, we started December of 2021. The first year, we had our first graduation. We had 26 graduates from our RISE initiative in 2022. In 2023, we increased to 68 graduates. And as you all know, in my office, we're always looking for opportunities for improvement. So in 2023, I was very excited to learn that we had 68 graduates. That is, a huge increase from 2022. But there were 19 students who had completed everything that we had asked them to do with RISE. And we tell them that we tell them and their parents, if you need these services, if you need us, let us know. But we know in some of these communities where they may not be accustomed to asking for help or receiving help, that coming back sometimes is a challenge. And so this year, what we've done, so we can hopefully not have that 19 this coming up graduation, is we have assembled a team of individuals that will follow up with everyone who has completed everything we've asked them to every 90 days, just to say, hey, we're checking in, we're still here. And so we're excited about adding that to our RISE plan. The other thing that I'm very excited about, and I did just confirm that I have said I knew that we were one of, because there's always somebody that'll come up and say, wait a minute. But we did confirm with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council today, and I thought that this was so that we are the first DA's office in the state of Georgia to have a full-time therapist on staff. And that is a really big deal. It is an idea. I can't take the idea as my own. It was an idea that I got from the 3 DA's offices that I visited this past year when I went to New York. I took a team, and one of the other DAs in the state of Georgia took a team. DA Willis took a team. Because we're all getting family justice centers, and it's something they've had in New York for a while. And so we wanted to learn from them what was working, what they wish they would have known going in. And one of the things, the 3 DA's offices that we visited, they all told me that they had therapists in their office. And that was key for me, because we have a great partnership with the Family Counseling Center, but it could be, anywhere from a minimum of 2 weeks all the way up until 4 to 5 weeks for individuals to start receiving services, based on scheduling, based on their staffing, and, other needs. They've been a great partner for us, but we really wanted to focus on shortening that time. So I remember when I was there, I told my chief assistant, we've got to figure out how to get this in our office. And so I came back, and my folks wrote a grant, and we got a grant to have this therapist in, not only just a licensed therapist, but it's so vital, especially with the folks that we are serving, and just knowing the demographic. To have an African American male is essential to what we do and the therapy that we want to offer. It is our hope. We have a current victim advocate who I believe should complete all of her classes in certification by the end of December, to add another therapist to our team. But she's already working in our office. So that is something that we all can be proud of. And so what the goal is for Mr. Smith is that we see individuals immediately or within 48 hours of them requesting services. And it's been working really, really well. We've got to think about, especially in the context of domestic violence cases, when, folks want their children to get services, or even they want services. A lot of times the abusers are controlling those phones, their mode of transportation. And so it may not be as easy as us calling them back to schedule. So immediately they're either seen by the therapist, or we give them an actual appointment to come back within 48 hours. So we're very proud of the work that we're doing there. Also, we added, it's something we thought about in 2022. We did not start, the initiative actually until 2023 with our RISE ambassadors. And they do a phenomenal job of helping us to spread the word about RISE. And you say, well, DA Howard, how many people do you want to RISE? As many as we can get. We were fortunate to get a $750,000 grant, federal grant, and then Congressman Sam Bishop's office contacted our office and said he had heard about the RISE initiative. He later came to speak at our graduation in 2023, but he gave us $240,000 of congressional appropriations money. And so it's always good when people call you about money instead of you calling them. So we were blessed in that fashion as well. And so where are we now? Where are we going in 2024? My team knows that we are anticipating 100 graduates with our 2024 graduation. That is the goal. Right now, we currently have 105 active youth in our RISE initiative. We are serving 59 families. We have, in addition to that, we have 35 individuals who have already met all of the requirements for our December graduation. And I know that Mayor Miller was at the graduation. I know some of the commissioners were there as well. We will invite you again this year in December. We do it each year in December, and so we're on track to have that number. Jeremy Raines is my director of RISE and Outreach, and so we have his number there if anybody has any questions about RISE or getting folks in. One thing that we're seeing is a lot of community referrals, and that's what we want. We want to reach these young folks before they enter our criminal justice system. We can get referrals both ways, but it's very important. The more that we spread the word about RISE, the more that we're getting those community referrals, and we're starting younger. And I know many of you know after the first year, we started serving about the first year starting at about age 7. What we saw was that younger children needed these services, and we had families that were asking for these services for their younger children. So we added a pediatric psychiatrist, and so now we can serve kids as young as 3 years old. And so and the other thing, some people ask, how is this crime prevention? I think it's obvious with the things I just went over, so that these youth won't become a part of our criminal justice system. But specifically, and I won't give too many details, but we currently have a case in our office, siblings, and we had enough for the case to be indicted involving one of the siblings, but the other sibling would not talk or disclose anything. And that sibling was a part of our RISE initiative. Both siblings were, but the one that wouldn't disclose completed RISE, also went to Camp Hope, and I'm so glad to have that partnership with One Safe Place Macon as well. They were a part of our summer DA's office Junior Justice League, and they opened up to some of the individuals from our team. And so we're able to get that case re-indicted. So that when we proceed to trial, we have some corroboration based off what was done to both of the children. So that's a direct way of how it's also impacting not only what's going on in the community and outside the courtroom, but what's going on inside the courtroom as well. Any questions for anybody? I hope I stay under my time limit.
Any questions tonight?
Oh, no questions?
That.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you all so much, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Sheriff Davis.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. All right, we can look at my picture all afternoon, or we can get some information here when we get this going. There we go. One of the things I want to talk about that we have got going on at the Sheriff's Office now is our Strategic Information Center. We've heard about this, and this is where all of our technological resources that we have brought on over the last few years have come in. Our monitoring cameras, our site view cameras, the Verkada cameras that we have that you as commissioners and I have put throughout different parts of the county, the shot spotter system, as well as the flock system, as well as the flock camera system. And we're going to talk about some success stories on that and how that works. But before I go forward on the Strategic Information Center, there are criminal intel analysts in there, plus there are deputies. The work that they do is a force multiplier and takes up a lot of work that would have taken scores of investigators and scores of deputies out on the road, knocking on doors, making phone calls, and doing all of those types of just investigative work, that these individuals in the Strategic Information Center really have this at their fingertips through keyboards and through our camera systems. I call it digital patrolling. I can have one person in our Strategic Information Center sitting there going through all of the cameras that we have all around the community, and it's almost like patrolling. They can watch a certain area, move on to another one. When they see something unusual happening at one place, they can direct the deputies into that location, and that has been very successful for us, and it has averted some crimes and helped us catch some folks in the process. We talk about the shot spotter. I think that was one of the first technology pieces that we put in about 3 years ago now, and that has really helped us out to be able to identify where the shots are coming from, who's been involved in them, who may be the victims, certainly, and who may be the suspects in these cases. But one of the things that we have noticed since the inception of ShotSpotter back in February of 2022, really about the middle of March of 2022, the number of calls and the number of shells fired has declined over that period of time. Whereas used to, we would get, ShotSpotter alerts for 15 and 20 rounds at a time. Now it may be only 1 or 2 rounds, and there are not as many notifications as there once were. So it is working to be a deterrent, and also the deputies that respond to those ShotSpotter calls. But one of the things I want to talk mostly about today is the flock camera system. And we talk about the notice that we have gotten, and certainly the Sight View cameras, as well as the Vicata brand cameras that we have around town. That was sort of paid for locally, but the state saw what we were doing and wanted to be a part of that, so they gave us $1.5 million through the governor's office of budget to fund 3 years worth of flock cameras. So we have 100 of them slated. We have 99 of them up now. There should be that one coming up, and we're looking to even expand that capability even further. And we also have our Safer Together program, where people who have cameras can join in and register their cameras with the sheriff's office, and that we know that those cameras exist, so that we can sometimes access them, or either if something happens in the vicinity of where that camera is, we can go and get that data and get that video. But just since the flock cameras have been in effect since the middle of December, we've had hits. We've had over 4,000 hits, and don't worry, there's not that many bad folks running around in the street. But you can imagine that whenever there's 99 cameras, a person drives by one camera, it's going to alert. It drives by another camera, and it's going to alert as they move across town. And that's how we're able to track individuals, and that whenever we do have a situation that requires someone to be stopped, we're able to track their whereabouts. And if a deputy, these notifications go out to all of the deputies, and if they happen to be close and it's a stolen car or a wanted person, then they are going to take action. And we've had several people have been arrested. We've had a number of stolen cars that have been recovered in that case. So when I say, and then we also talk about missing persons, that is one of the things we talk about law enforcement side for wanted people, stolen cars, that sort of thing. But it also helps us to find missing people who may have wandered, maybe just a child abduction, anything like that. But we had a case back in February where there was a lady that went missing, and she had some, her family was concerned about her mental well-being. And so by flock cameras, and because we're part of flock, we're able to access and we're able to see flock cameras no matter where they are in the southeast or in the country. Well, we were able to track those flock cameras, and we found this this individual out in Louisiana, and she was located safely and returned back home. So that is one of the great things about technology. And think about, in that regard, how many man hours or staff hours that would have taken if you had an investigator that had to call and check and follow up on leads. We might never have found that person, but in this situation, she was found fairly quickly. More recently, these success stories, we had a homicide out on Winston Drive, right off of Eisenhower. And these are two cases that without this technology, we probably went out and not even had an arrest. You have a person who was shot, their vehicle crashed into a backyard of a house, and this is in the middle of the night. You have nothing. And so you have no way of knowing, what happened. But because we had the flock cameras, we were able to track that person's whereabouts just before they were victimized. We were also able to track the people that they had encountered. They tracked the people that were involved in it, found the car that the suspects were in when they did the shooting, tracked that car, were able to get the tag number, were able to make an arrest in that case. The second one, we remember there was a individual that was found dead up on North Holiday Drive North at a hotel up there, and then way over on the other side of town on Ruark Circle, there was another person found dead within a few hours. And in the old days, that would have been two whodunits that probably might not have never been solved or would have been solved way down the road. But through the work and hours of scores of investigators and deputies knocking on doors, following leads, making calls. But between the cameras that we have, the surveillance cameras at the hotel, the flock cameras, the other cameras that we have, we were able to quickly identify that there was a connection between what happened up on Holiday Drive North and over on Ruark Circle. So in these situations, there were people arrested and brought to justice in those cases. So those are some great success stories, and these cases were solved in just a matter of days, simply because of the flock cameras. And here's one that we get the notifications, and I got the notification on this one myself because I get the notifications, and I saw one that at 11 o'clock was a vehicle going down. It was over off of Rocky Creek Road, and then at 1 o'clock, the same vehicle was the flock notification came out, and it was on the back of a wrecker. So it had been reported stolen a little before 11. It was on the flock system. By 1 o'clock, it had been stopped by a deputy and impounded and was carried away. So that flock system has really done some phenomenal work for us. Another success story: the flock cameras hit on a stolen vehicle on Mercer University Drive, and there were two people in that vehicle that were arrested and charged with theft by receiving the stolen vehicle. And they also, those individuals had warrants from other counties. And then we have all the technology piece, and certainly that is important, but you still have to have folks out on the street doing the job. And our SRT unit, if you remember, the commission recognized them here a few months ago, and the SRT unit is continuing their good work. Just this year, since the beginning of January, they have made 527 arrests, recovered 97 firearms, and served 342 warrants during that time. And if we remember, since the beginning of the SRT team in 2021, since the beginning of 2021, the SRT team has conducted over 7,000 traffic stops and arrested over 300 individuals. So they are doing some fantastic work, but that's the blending of the technology plus those deputies out on the road and those special units that is making a difference. And I think that we are seeing where that all of this together is a deterrent. Word's getting out that if you do something bad, you're going to be tracked. If you do something bad, if you fire off a gun, you're going to get found out about. If you do something bad, we have the means and the technology to be able to track us. Just a few years ago, none of this existed. Flock cameras are not even that long on the market. So this is something that is really, we're on the front edge of a lot of technology, and I think it's certainly contributing to, from a law enforcement standpoint, for us deterring some of the things that happen. But certainly when things happen, it makes it a whole lot easier and more effective for us to find out who's doing it and bring those folks to justice. So I appreciate this and be happy to have any questions when anybody writes or to follow up with. But it's just a pleasure to serve, and we're all a partner in the Macon Violence Prevention Program, and I think each and every one of us doing our parts makes this program work. And certainly it has shown the proof's in the pudding when we see the decrease in violent crime that we have seen over the last few months and then even into this year. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Next, we will hear from Ms. Catherine Dennis of the Community Foundation of Central Georgia.
Good afternoon. Mayor Miller, I thought you were going to say that you expected me, that I have less hair in that picture now than that picture. But good afternoon. I'm Catherine Dennis. I'm president of the Community Foundation of Central Georgia, and it's truly an honor to be here with you this afternoon. In 2021, our foundation embarked on a transformative journey with you, Macon-Bibb County, in the shared mission to combat, diminish, and ultimately prevent violent crime in our community. With a grant from you of $2.5 million, we established a comprehensive grant-making program that was designed to complement the Macon Violence Prevention strategic plan. Since then, we've had 2 rounds of grants, and those dedicated grantees have hit the ground running. They've implemented programs to combat and ultimately prevent violent crime. The first round of the programs is complete, and the grantees have submitted their final reports, and you heard some of those statistics in Jeremy's report, and we're rapidly coming to a conclusion of round 2. And Friday, May 10th, is the deadline for the 3rd round of grants. So please encourage your constituents and organizations who are interested in being a part of Macon Violence Prevention to go ahead and fill out the application. The deadline is at noon. You can't wait till 11 o'clock, which you'd be surprised. I have a paperweight on my desk that says the ultimate inspiration is the deadline. And that happens with grants. But at the end of each of these rounds, the grantees submit detailed reports, and they match up the goals they set for themselves at the beginning with what they actually accomplished. And you heard those statistics. But today I want to share some stories with you. I think it's important in those successes that some of the grantees have achieved. One standout example of impact is our partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters. They received a $50,000 grant in the first round, and it's called Mentoring for Change Youth Violence Prevention Program. The goal was clear: to reduce the number of young people at risk for engaging in violent crime through one-to-one mentorship. So for academic performance, Big Brothers Big Sisters set a baseline measurement, and they said that they wanted 75% of their youth to either maintain or improve their grades. Through their mentorship program, and also expanding because of the expanded resources toward elementary school kids, they observed a substantial improvement. In fact, it went up to 92.6% from 75%. So this really demonstrates what this program works. I mean, that these interventions and positive influences through one-on-one mentoring do make a difference. Another success story came from Next Level Community Development Center. They received $90,000 for their HOPE project. The expansion of their summer and after-school program allowed them to include remediation tutoring, mental health counseling, and exposure to post-secondary education and employment opportunities. Next Level reported that because of this additional funding, they were able to increase the number of students who received that one-on-one tutoring. This resulted in a dramatic improvement in their students on their Georgia Milestones assessment. Next Level met or exceeded all of their self-identified goals. One goal they set was that 70% of their program participants would experience no suspensions or have a decrease in in-school suspensions compared to the previous year. The outcome exceeded their expectations, reaching 93% of those students. The significant reduction in suspension rates indicates the effectiveness of their strategies to promote a culture of respect and accountability within the schools, and also to address those underlying issues that contribute to that disruptive behavior. They're making a difference. But I think these stories really highlight achievements best. So I want to share heartwarming stories in their own words from 2 of our grantees. I'll start with next level. Case management and accountability continue to be strong assets for the organization. Staff, students, and families stay connected and engaged throughout the year. One high school student who was in trouble with the law felt defeated and hopeless, on the verge of dropping out of school. Through our program, he found hope and support. Today, he has avoided risky behavior, stayed clear of the law, received no suspensions, and fought charges in court successfully. He's thriving and hopeful, an active participant in the program, and he's even connected friends to this program who are thriving as well. Another first-round grantee was the Macon Anti-Violence Academy, and they had a 6th grade participant, Elijah. And Elijah and his family began the program during the first cohort. Elijah, this is in their words, Elijah is being raised by his grandparents, who informed AVA administrators that they were seeking programs to assist them with raising Elijah and help him to avoid trouble and conflict with others. During the workshop and activities, Elijah's level of interest and participation significantly grew. He showed major improvement in his self-confidence and his ability to make sound decisions. Elijah's grandparents reported that due to the workshops and activities, they developed a stronger bond with Elijah and that the communication has significantly improved. What we hear from all of these, what we've heard from all of our grantees, and they're amazing Macon Violence Prevention grantees, that are helping with these young people, that those young people, that they get in trouble, the common thread is that they're lacking hope. And it's just a sense of hopelessness. So what these MVP grantees are doing is changing that. They are offering hope to these young people, and like the ones that I just shared with you in those 2 examples. So through the diligent efforts of all of the MVP grantees, and we've made 42 grants to 56 grants to 42 individual grant organizations. But through these grantees, we've witnessed tangible progress toward the shared goal of a safer community. The success stories I shared today serve as a testament to the power of collaboration and targeted intervention in affecting positive change. So we understand this is a long game. We didn't get here overnight. Violent crime is not going to be solved overnight, but working with these children and working with their parents and their guardians makes this marathon worth it. I mean, it takes a village. So as we continue our journey together, we'll remain steadfast in our commitment to build a community where every individual, regardless of their background or circumstances, can thrive in our community and feel safe and secure. The Community Foundation Board and I are thankful for the investment that Macon-Bibb County has made in this. And we really appreciate the trust that you've placed in us. So I want to thank the commissioners and you, Mr. Mayor, and I'll be glad to turn the meeting back over to you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Dennison. It is very, very good to see you here tonight, and I love your hair. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we've been talking about over the last several months. This is a collaborative effort, which is what it always takes if you really want to get things done. I want to personally thank Jeremy Grissom for all the hard work that he has done this year to back the Macon Violence Prevention Program. It's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to make sure everything is done properly. I'd like to thank Anita Howard, our DA in Macon, for all that she does. Her RISE program is a model for everyone, and certainly I attended the graduation and look forward to attending the next graduation and see those numbers continue to grow, so much so that we have to get a new spot each year to grow into, and I've seen a lot of success stories for that. Sheriff Davis, we appreciate you being here tonight. We appreciate bringing some good news for a change. We know that we have some dark nights, and you and I get calls all the time, and certainly that's some of the worst parts of our job. And if we wasn't doing anything at all, then that would be one thing, but these numbers don't suggest that. It suggests that we're getting ahead of the curve. We hit the problems head on by investing in the technology, and it took all 9 of these commissioners here working together to give you the funding on a lot of these things, and also took your office requesting some state grant money. We'd like to thank all those in the state that play a part in getting this technology. Not trying to replace officers, but it does help save resources to put those officers another time, and eventually we'll have better response times because of that. And Catherine, I can't say enough about the Community Foundation of Central Georgia, all the wonderful things and all the great stories. I know you wanted to be here tonight. That's why we didn't have this a couple of weeks ago. We appreciate your dedication. I know this is a lot of work, and certainly it's worth doing for everybody. These success stories don't even scratch the surface of all the wonderful things that we know is happening in the lives of each and every one of these folks, including our people at the school system. We've been in contact with them. We know that these programs are working because they're getting less disciplinary actions by these students that are involved in these programs, and that's usually an early sign for that. But more importantly, we get more community engagement and parental and other engagement on these things. So I'd like to take a pause just for a second now and give all these folks a round of applause for all the great work that they're doing. Thank each of you being here tonight, this afternoon. We do not have a need to go into executive session, so we're going to adjourn this meeting, and then we'll move immediately into our next commission meeting.
Okay. So, no opportunity?
No, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Macon-Bibb County Board of Commissioners meeting. This is our regular meeting. The time is now 6:07. Today is May the 7th. I'd like to welcome everyone here to our meeting, and we'll call this to order like we always do. We'll begin our meeting tonight with our prayer by Pastor Larry Dunning, Jr. Pastor, if you don't mind coming up to the microphone, that'll be followed by our Pledge of Allegiance, and then we have a couple of presentations. So those of you that can and will, please stand and bow your head for our prayer.
One of the greatest things that happened in Macon was the Holy Week observance, and I attended all but one, but I do remember Mayor came over Thursday and taught us about Monday, Thursday. I thought he was there to give the welcome. He was there to give the pre-homily. I just gave the post-homily.
All right.
Thank you, Reverend Miller.
Thank you.
Fathers, in Jesus' name, we have come into this house together in your name to worship you and help this community. On this Holocaust Observance Day, we thank you, oh God, for what you have done for people that have been hurt all over the world. Now, Father, we pray blessings for our community, for our state, for our nation, and for our world. Now, Father, we pray as they start to this meeting that you will lower their mountains, that you will raise their valleys, you will make the crooked places straight and the rough places smooth. Let this meeting, Father, be in history as a great meeting because we're here to help one another. If we can help somebody as we pass along, if we can help somebody with a word or song, if we can show someone he's traveling wrong, then our living will not be in vain. Bless the mayor, bless the commissioners, bless the law enforcement community, bless the faith community, bless all of us, that we will make Macon and Bibb County a better place to live in. This we ask in your name, Jesus. And we all said,
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. We have two presentations tonight on the agenda. And our first presentation will be by Mayor Pro Tem Seth Clark. Will be followed by a presentation by myself in the recognition of Mental Health Awareness Month.
I would love it if the commissioners would join me, and you and Mr. Miller stayed up there for a second. Would y'all entertain that? Yeah, just with me, not behind me. Need to, yeah, we can. There goes the. All right, this was, I believe, put on the agenda under false pretenses. This is not a presentation about the recently filed Old Mulgee Mounds National Park and Preserve Establishment Act. This is a presentation of a brick, of a milestone, commemorating the 700th blighted structure and the demolition of it in Macon-Bibb County. Mr. Mayor, you've spearheaded this since you got elected, and we know that this is just a single milestone, and your commission's behind you, and we thank you, and here's to 700 more, so congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Clark. And thank you, rest of the commissioners. I think we all agree that we're doing some great work in that area, and we say time and time again, it's not about tearing things down, it's about building up. And we look forward to infilling a lot of those residents. And we've already set aside $7.5 million to make sure that becomes a reality. So we appreciate your help in doing that. And also for the folks at home to realize that these houses are houses that are dangerous, who've been requested by neighbors for almost a decade to be removed. And it took the hard work and dedication of this commission to make that happen. And certainly we appreciate all of you joining in this effort. Thank you. All righty. Let me ask my mental health professionals to come forward if they may. I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, Macon-Bibb County. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives. Whereas prevention is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental illness. Whereas there is a strong body of research that suggests specific tools that all Americans can use to better handle challenges and protect their health and well-being. And whereas mental illness are real and prevalent in our nation. And whereas with early treatment, those individuals with mental illness can recover and lead full, productive lives. Whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizens share the burden of mental illness and have a responsibility to promote mental wellness and to support prevention efforts. Now, therefore, I, Lester M. Miller, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Macon-Bibb County, and I urge all citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, business and school in Macon-Bibb County to recommit our community to increasing awareness, understanding of mental health, the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental illness at all ages and all stages. And whereof I am here to set my hand and cause the seal of the consolidated government.